Welcome everyone to My Self-Reliance Community Chat. I'm your host Kelly Wilkins, and I'm joined with me tonight by these beautiful people who are here from all over Australia. And this is what it's all about on a Tuesday night, is coming together and talking about things that are relevant to being self-reliant, getting a bit off the grid, out of the system, and connection. This year, I think the word unity for this year, right? And it's all about connecting with each other so that we can build strength in community. So I want to share with you a little presentation that I put together. And in this presentation, it's really about taking, I guess, stock of where you're at and having a look at a little quiz. It's a bit fun. You don't have to take it too seriously, but it'll help you to know what it is that where you're at, where you need areas that you might want to work on. So I'm just going to share my screen. One of the things that I'm really big on is preparedness. Okay. So there's 13 questions in this quiz. If you have a pen and paper handy, then it's just a yes, no, and you can kind of see where you're at out of 13. Okay. Jump into this. Here's some headlines out of the last couple of days, or within the last week. There's been floods and fires. There's been lots of severe weather warnings from Newcastle to Western Australia. We've seen that there's been homes that are lost in Western Australia. People have had to evacuate. We've seen a major gas leak in Adelaide. We've seen petrol prices soar, and storms that can take roofs off. So as we look at these things that are happening around our country, it doesn't happen to all of us all at the same time, but you never know when it's going to happen to you. You can't be too prepared, and if you are prepared, then you don't know whether that can save your life at any time. And even if you create a preparedness plan and never use it, it's better to be safe than sorry, right? So let's take this quiz. Okay, in the event of an emergency, I have a plan and a backup plan. So that would look like if you have written down a plan and that has more than one part to the plan, where if you were able to make an escape route or make a what you would do in a certain situation, and then an alternative to that.
Have we got that? We haven't really, have we? No.
Okay, number 2. In event of emergency, my family know where to find me if they couldn't get me on the phone. So hopefully as part of that plan, you've made a contingent for where you would meet up, and maybe more than one meeting point. Hopefully you have 3. So maybe you would have one that's close by, maybe at the front of the home, maybe down the street, maybe at a friend's home, and maybe a few kilometres away, or the next suburb, or even further than that, that they would know where to find you. Okay. Welcome, Michaela. We're just taking a quiz. Join us. Question number 3. Oh, sorry, I've gone backwards. That was question number 1. Question number 2. Okay. I have first aid knowledge and know how to minister CPR. Always really handy to know what to do with your first aid kit. Great to have one, but knowing how to use it, even better. Okay, next one. If anyone does want a first aid course, I do know of one in the Rydalmere area on, I think it's February 23rd from 6:30 p.m. till 9 p.m. for $60, and they have training on CPR. Question number 4. In the event of emergency, I have an emergency kit, meaning a 72-hour kit. It's a 3 days handy and ready to go. So you've got a 72-hour bag or a grab-and-go bag ready to go. And if you have multiple people in your family, then you'd want one for each family member. I know some of you are writing down those questions as well as answering them. So you ready for me to move on? Okay, number 5. I have water stored and food to feed my family for at least 3 weeks. Now 3 weeks is minimum. If you have 3 months, even better. And once you get to 3 months, then it's extending that out to 6 months and then to a year. And then once you have a year's worth of supplies, then you're looking at long-term food storage for upwards of a year to 25 years. But let's just start with the 3 weeks. Okay, question number 6. I have tested at least 3 different evacuation routes from my home to my family's safer place. This is a tricky one because we can make the plans, but testing out those plans can be a completely different scenario altogether. Question 7. I have saved all of my close contact numbers on a backup other than my phone in case my phone battery dies, including the neighbours and family and friends numbers, the doctor if you need the doctor's number, the local council, the utility providers, your workplace, school and childcare community centres, if you have someone in a nursing home, or anyone else that you need to contact during or after an emergency. So of course you tailor that to who's in your family and who you need to contact. Just checking in, is there a buzzing noise on my end?
Yes.
Okay, sometimes because my phone's too far away. Is that any better? It's too bad.
That's worse.
Worse now. Okay.
Oh, that's better. That's back.
All right, is it good now?
Yep.
Okay, thanks for that. Thanks, Michaela, for commenting on that. Okay. Next one. Question 8. I've made copies of all my family's important documents and stored those electronically with a backup. So usually maybe on a USB. You might need your license, your ID, passport, visa, It might be your house deeds or land titles, insurance papers, bank details, medical records. And I think photos, for me, photos is kind of as important. So if your home goes up in flames, you've got important things that you can save on a disk, on a USB. And they're easy to store in your 72-hour kit. So once you've done it one time, then you just pop it in there and it's done. Oh, did I go too fast? You all right with that? Okay, number 9. Yeah?
Can you go back for 1 second,
Go
please?
back? Yep.
Yep.
What about your will? Got a will up to date, marriage certificate. And the copy of your emergency plan might be good, because if somebody finds that, they might be able to locate you if you separated. Just an idea.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, question number 9. I have made plans to relocate my pets to in a case of an emergency. So what are you going to do with your pets? Okay, so maybe it's just, now this is thinking about, maybe it's not widespread, the emergency. It might be just an emergency where you are, and you need to have your pets go to somewhere else while you have to relocate the family. What are you going to do with your pets? Number 9 is a bit similar to number 10. I regularly practice my emergency plan with my whole family, including pets, if applicable. So getting the family into practice, giving them a time limit to, okay, we've got 30 minutes, we've got to grab everything that we can, we've got to grab our bags, we've got to pack up the car, and we've got to get out of here within that time limit. Ready to go to the next one? Okay. I know where, how, and when to turn off my water, gas, and electrical mains if required in emergency. Okay. Number 12. I've practiced packing my car for an evacuation so I know how long it may take me in an actual emergency. So that's a bit like number 10. But specifically practicing packing the car. Sometimes it's hard to do when you're going on holiday, let alone emergency. Okay. Next one, last one. I am well connected in my local community. Now this one is super valuable because sometimes it's who you know, not what you know. And if we are used to getting on these opportunities where we get to connect with others, then we build up the friendships and we build up relationships of trust. And then in an emergency, we know who we can count on and where we can go. Okay. All right, how did you go out of 13? Add them up. Wants to share with us? Who did more than 5? Yes, good. Atta, how'd you go, Ben? Did you get more than 5 right?
No, I didn't. No, I was only at 2, so I've got a lot of work to do.
I feel a bit better. I was 3.
Which was the 2 you did well in, Ben?
Number 3. So I forget which one that one was. I just wrote down yes for number 3.
Okay, I'll go back and have a look. I'll scroll back to number 3. First aid, yay!
Yeah, first aid, got that. Number 11, I can turn off all the gas, water, electricity if I need to. And I have got some food preparation on the way, but I didn't want to say yes because I know it needs a lot more work. So we've probably got about 3 weeks, but I didn't say yes to that one. But yeah, we need to keep building.
Excellent. And some of these, do take a little bit of time, and some of these you can kind of knock them, in a couple of hours. Just
yeah.
Box. Cheryl, what was the third one that you had, or if you didn't have the same as those?
In the event of an emergency, I have my emergency bit for 3 days handy and ready to go. More or less.
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Congratulations. And how did you feel you went, Atta?
I have 8, but I kind of failed in testing stuff. So we don't really test packing up the car and stuff like that. So we have to probably work more on that. But other things, yeah, are good. Like animals, not relevant because we don't have any pets. And yeah, testing is a little bit tricky because we never have time, or we just think that nothing will happen, so we don't have to practice. But maybe that's something we should try at least once or twice. How much we can fit in one car? Well, we have 2 cars, so if it doesn't fit in one car, then we can always take 2, I guess.
And there's other questions that maybe could have been more fair, like, do you have petrol in your car ready to go at all times, or at least half filled? There's some other ones that we could.
In this case, we always keep full tank, to be honest.
Yes, very good.
Yeah, when it goes to halfway time to buy it, just in case. And we also have the container just in case as well.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
So last year we actually put aside a whole weekend for the family to do a emergency weekend. So we couldn't use the electricity or water, and just camped in our lounge room, and couldn't cook, and tested out our kit to see how we would go. It was quite funny because my husband taught the kids how to dig for mealyworms and eat barbecue mealyworms. So yeah, bit of scavenging for food. But you do have to set aside time for it because it's not a part of your regular schedule. But that was a really fun thing that we did, was just to get the family together, and I wrote out the emergency plan, and then we did the drill with the kids, and then they joined in, and we made a bit of fun with it, and it was like camping, so they enjoyed it. So if you can put aside weekends to going camping, then that's perfect. Okay. All right, I'm just going to skip to the next slide. All right. So just because it's not you today, don't think it couldn't be you tomorrow. Okay, so all of these things have happened recently. And we do know that there's more on the way, that that the weatherman has for us, right? We do, we've all grown up with 4 seasons in one day living in Australia, but I think these things are heightened at the moment, and we can expect, despite the other things that are out of our control, like the price of meat rising and the transport industry, not delivering for all those reasons. Welcome, Michael. Have you joined us? Yeah, so there's lots of things that we need to prepare for. It might not be an emergency, but there might be longer term concerns that we have to be aware of. And so if we have that food there or that plan there, then we will be better prepared. And it's not as, you don't have to have a lot of money to get started when you're doing your preparations. It's just looking for the, when you do food storage, looking for what's on sale and getting a few extra. Now, I didn't go to Christina. How did you go, Christina?
6. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
6 out of 13. I mean, I've got the preparedness plan in my head, but I guess that just doesn't really count. But we've done 2 routes, but we haven't done 3. It's I mean, I've only got my photos backed up on a USB, but I didn't think of anything else, only the photos. So there's definitely room for improvement.
We're getting a beep from somewhere. So with the route, it might be that at your place, to get in and out, there might only be 2 ways to go via the road. So the 3rd route might be on foot, right? So
we're out of town, so we're not going to get very far on foot, but I'm sure I could find a horse somewhere. But we've got a trailer, and we've actually in one part of our shed we've got everything prepared in boxes, and we've got a photographic plan of how they fit in the trailer, although we'd probably be throwing things in fairly fast. But and then we've made a cover for the trailer as well, a permanent cover. So we've probably got about maybe 3 years supply of canned and dry, but we've also got a lot of seeds and those sorts of things. So but that 3 years would depend on who we're sharing with, because our idea would be, to share with as many wherever we sort of end up, in that emergency situation.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually, is if you can have a buddy family to work with, that makes
We've got about we've probably got about 3 or 4 families in, so they're our new like-minded families. So we've got about 3 or 4 families in Singleton, that we've buddied up with, and we're trying to get different people are good at different things, and we're trying to we're trying to share our skills.
Wonderful.
Can I?
Yeah, Michaela, how are you?
Hi, I'm hanging in there. Too much happening, but if you guys are actually remote or out of the city, you're in a really, really good position. Having the opportunity, even if you have only 2 routes out, and on top of it you have the other families, I would suggest you guys actually build some cages. So this would be different spots for different in different areas where you actually bury a certain amount of food or rations or water or whatever it may be. The reason for that is if you're preparing to up and leave, you have more opportunities to build yourself checkpoints or get to points. And this is actually something that a person that used to be in the group said is really, really important, because if you're saying you have the trailer there and you're chucking everything on, I can guarantee you half the stuff will be left behind because you don't have time.
Yeah, true.
If you have different groups and you can come together and scout out certain spots that are certain difference from wherever you're heading, you give yourself half point marks where you store. You can actually, you as long as the containers are watertight, you just bury them in, you know, and then your packet, depending on the people that you're expecting in those areas, so that you can get another 3 days or another week or whatever it may be. Because like Kelly was saying, when she did the drill with the family, you'd be surprised how much you're not going to be able to take because you don't have time. So even if you're saying it's all stacked in the corner there, try and see how much you can throw in a trailer in 3 minutes.
Okay.
And
I will.
yeah, so this is something that they actually do. This is more military based. I know it sounds a little bit odd, but if you as the families that are working together can just scout certain spots and that stuff doesn't go, you know, you can go back and get it. But if you want to put that along your, you know, 2 escape routes, because if you can't come back or you don't have time to throw it in the trailer, it would be a good halfway point to stock up if need be.
Yeah.
I'll put a video of that in. There's a beautiful training video where a guy shows you how he digs out those little bug outs and how he covers them over so they look completely camouflaged. But you know, and the other people who are important that know where to find them if they ever need to dig them up. And he went as far as to making them long enough that he could actually crawl inside and hide in there for a day or two if things were pretty rough, and be safe. You know, could you imagine if there's a fire coming along, you could actually be underground and have it go over the top and be quite safe underneath. I'll show you the video anyway. It takes a lot of work, but it's, you know, it's one of those things you like, could save your life, who knows.
Yeah.
But I hope to be in that situation too, where I'm in the country and creating one of those, I don't know what you call them, bug outs. Be fun.
Caches.
Cache, yeah.
Cache.
Secret. Cache, yeah. And Carol says that she has only 2 routes out of her place, and you've got the doggy, and you did well on that questionnaire. Well done, Carol. And sorry about the question that you missed out. I don't know which one it was. Maybe you can show us. All right, well, I'm going to stop the recording there, and we in our community are going to have a chat. So anyone watching the replay, do jump on and join us at 8 o'clock on Tuesdays, New South Wales time, and join this beautiful community of growing people who are like-minded and preparing and wanting to